the Daily Dose, Marcus Garvey. Born in 1887 St. Ann's Bay, Jamaica, Marcus Moziah Garvey would grow up to study law and philosophy in 1914 at the University of London's Birkbeck College, at the same time starting the Universal Negro Improvement Association, following his correspondence with Booker T. Washington. Considered one of the earliest civil rights voices for black equality, 2 years later, Garvey sailed to New York City, where he embarked on a 38-city speaking tour while authoring the Declaration of Rights of the Negro Peoples of the World, which was adopted at the 1920 convention of the Universal Negro Improvement Association held at Madison Square Garden. In many of his lectures, Garvey stressed his point that if you want liberty, you yourselves must strike the blow. If you must be free, you must become so through your own effort. Until you produce what the white man has produced, you will not be his equal. Settling in Harlem, Garvey became the publisher of a newspaper called Negro World, growing increasingly militant as he questioned how a nation could call itself a democracy while oppressing and segregating African Americans. Under the auspices of his now 4 million member Universal Negro Improvement Association, Garvey and his colleagues created a shipping company called Black Star Line, purchasing the SS Yarmouth before rechristening the vessel the SS Frederick Douglass. Among other things, Garvey's vision for the Black Star Line was to ferry former African American slaves and their descendants to his African Redemption or Back to Africa campaign, which he hoped to establish in present-day Liberia, yet his radical activism soon made him a target of the Bureau of Investigation after J. Edgar Hoover labeled him a notorious Negro agitator. In 1923, Garvey was found guilty to a largely trumped-up charge of mail fraud related to his Black Star Line, serving out his sentence in Atlanta, where he penned his now famous First Message to the Negroes of the World from Atlanta prison. Following his release in 1928, Garvey set sail for Geneva, Switzerland, where he gave a speech on equal rights and the abuse of black people to the League of Nations, eventually returning to Jamaica to form the People's Political Party, which became Jamaica's first modern political organization focused on the rights of workers and the poor. Garvey returned to London in 1935, passing away 5 years later after complications following a series of strokes. Buried in a cemetery in Kensal Green, London, due to the outbreak of World War II, his remains were exhumed and reburied within the National Heroes Park in Kingston, Jamaica in 1964, making Marcus Garvey one of the first defiant voices in the ongoing press for racial equality. And there you have it, Marcus Garvey, today in the Daily Dose. Get your nerd on with the Daily Dose. And if you enjoyed today's episode, share the link with a friend or colleague so that they too can learn something new every day.